when people assume that there are battles that Kobe Bryant would not fight, they couldn't be further from the truth. This is a highly intelligent young man, not just because he speaks 3 different languages fluently, not just because he's a businessman who also happens to be an elite athlete, but he understands how to fight certain battles. Perfect example is the collective bargaining negotiations. Kobe Bryant was right there with Derek Fisher and those boys. He was ready to go to war on behalf of the Players Association in terms of their quest to fight against the NBA with the collective bargaining agreement that was reached. What he wasn't willing to do is engage in hooliganism, was engage in frivolous activity that would reap absolutely no benefits whatsoever, because he understood the climate. He understood that in a bad economy, when the NBA owners are talking about a 50-50 share of things, there are certain battles that you have to know how to fight. You have to know how to be a businessman. You have to know when to pick your battles. You also have to acknowledge and recognize when battles are there to be won and when battles are there to be lost. Kobe Bryant is an intellectual. And what Jim Brown was alluding to, him being born and raised in the early part of his life in Italy, not being raised in the inner city, not understanding that culture, he's absolutely right. That's not Kobe Bryant's world. But trust me when I tell you, in his own way, Kobe Bryant is a warrior. He's an intellectual one, as opposed to a belligerent, physical, confrontational one. But trust me when I tell you, the word warrior is apropos to him, because there are a lot of battles he will fight. He is just someone who dissects what is winnable, what is plausible, what makes sense, and what doesn't. And I think a lot of people sleep on him in that regard. He ain't perfect. Certainly wasn't perfect with Shaq, and we all know that. But if Shaq can forgive him, the rest of us can too. Beyond that, I think people are a little bit lost as to the warrior that Kobe Bryant is.
Okay, so back to the question. If we could turn back the clock, as Jim Brown was doing, to 1967, and we could place Kobe at a superstar level in 1967, and Jim Brown called Kobe and said, would you come to Cleveland and participate in supporting Muhammad Ali's stance against the war in Vietnam, against being drafted? He wants to conscientiously object to the draft, to the war. Do you think Kobe would have gone the way we can see in the picture? Can we see the picture now? That was Mount Rushmore, with Ali in the middle, then Cassius Clay, obviously, Jim Brown to his left, Kareem, then Lou Alcindor, obviously, and the great Bill Russell. Mount Rushmore was there, those 3 especially, and several other NFL players standing behind them. Would Kobe have gone? Because Jim says Kobe, we wouldn't have even called Kobe. Would Kobe have gone to support this?
Yes.
I agree with you 100%, which is why, as much as I love and respect Jim, and I've talked to him several times in my life too, done shows with him, I'm sorry, I think this is a little unfair to Kobe. And Jim went on, we didn't see the rest of the Arsenio clip, but Jim went on to say that because Kobe grew up in Italy, in another country, which was partially true. He spent his high school was obviously outside Philadelphia.
First 8 years was in Italy. Yeah. He was in Lower Merion, playing in Philadelphia, right okay. Here. But,
I'm not sure that applies. I don't know. I just, again, if we could do the hypothetical, we obviously don't have a draft to dodge today, but if we had a similar issue today, we've had superstar athletes who obviously were a little more protective of their brands. They wanted to stay out of any social commentary. Right. I'll throw Michael Jordan in there. I will throw Tiger Woods in there. But then I started thinking, if you call Dwayne Wade today, he's going to be there.
Yes.
Yep.
LeBron.
I think if you call LeBron, he's going to be there. Yep. I agree with you. If we can go back just a generation or so, if you're going to call Shaquille O'Neal, I think he's going to be there.
Yes. If you without question.
Call Barkley, he's going to go.
Yes.
If you call Magic Johnson, he's going to be there. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. We're just hypothetical here. But Michael Jordan, I remind you of the
Isaiah Thomas, without question.
Okay, there you go. But remember Michael's, the famous line of Michael's when he was asked if he was going to support the black Democrat running for a Senate seat in Carolina. He said, Republicans buy sneakers too. Well, that was Michael. So would Michael have gone? I don't know.
It's important that you understand the magnitude of the question that you asked me. Who would stand up? Let me tell you why Kobe would stand up. Let me tell you why LeBron and D. Wade and Kevin Durant and all of these dudes would stand up. Number one, because of the oppressive times that we lived in. Their egos, the fight that they had in them, would never stand idly by and watch that happen. That's number one. Number two, like you said, Skip, and this is what I think Jim Brown is missing here, the Mount Rushmore of individuals. See, where guys have a problem is when you're asking them to stand front and center and be on an island for themselves. Because then when they do that, and the fallout is imminent, because we know there's going to be a fallout, Skip, what transpires is that you have to trust that others will back you and cushion the blows for you that you're inevitably scheduled to take. And they don't have faith in that. But Jim Brown, with Bill Russell, with Muhammad Ali and Lou Alcindor and all of these boys who were there, it wasn't just that they were the Mount Rushmore. They stood up and said, to us collectively as a body, it doesn't matter. Because if you oppress a nation of people, we can't sit idly by and go home and look at what we have and say that's enough. So what they were saying is we stand together. And as a result, it empowers a nation of our people. Kobe Bryant would never say no to that.